there. Welcome to the Performance Cafe. It's really great to see you here again today. And yes, this is the last day that we will be doing a perspectives in the month of love. So I hope you've enjoyed visiting with me and with Chapman and White on their book, The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. And today, I'd like to sign off with a very special message. So when we started looking at languages of appreciation in the office or in the business, we've been taking a look at how do we identify what people want, what their language of appreciation, what their love language is, how do we see this playing out in business, how do we find out what people's language of appreciation is. And today, I actually have a very special episode for you. Because you see, we think of February as the month of love and love for others. So if we're married or in a relationship, it's normally our significant other or our partner or our spouse. When we're single, we are thinking about friends and family who are always there for us, who always support us. But today I want to ask, what is your love language? And do you even know? You know, one of the biggest things that we've seen come out with COVID is that a lot of people aren't really good with self-care. We're always taking care of family, friends, everyone around us, the business. You know, there's always another important thing to do. And I'm concerned about a lack of self-care. And on the one hand, we see it in rising obesity rates in the world where people aren't taking care of themselves. And to me, it's not about the obesity. It's not about being fat. It's about I'm not taking the time to nourish and strengthen my body. This is pretty much like buying a brand new Mercedes or a Porsche, some very fancy car, and then never having it serviced, never putting in petrol, never putting in water. At a stage, we know things are going to go wrong. And yet, when it comes to ourselves, we always put those service intervals at extra long levels. And I think it shows up in a couple of ways. Lack of exercise, lack of eating right. Yeah, I'm talking to myself as well, right? So no judgment here. But I also think it comes out in the little things. I want to ask you a really important question. If you had no one around you and you had to do a little bit of self-care, what would you do? You would be amazed how often our self-care, when we actually even practice it, has got to do yet again with other people. Other circumstances, being able to go to a particular place. But if it was just you on an island, how would you take care of you? And the reason why I ask this is because we know that during tough times when we need resilience, of course, we know it's the little things. It's the small celebrations. It's not waiting a year and a half to get that big deal signed. It's about celebrating that you got the meeting. Celebrating that you got to do the proposal, celebrating that you got to pitch the proposal, celebrating that you got to do the negotiations, and all of that. Because otherwise, it says that unless we win the proposal or we win the deal, nothing else was worth celebrating. And that's not necessarily the case, because it might not have been up to you. It might not have been your proposal or your pitch. It might be factors beyond your control, as we've learned with COVID. So I'd like you to sit down and say to yourself, how often do I practice self-love? When I talk about how often we practice self-love, I want to know, what does self-love, self-compassion mean for me as a person? Are you a person who wants to spend time with others? Who are those others? And how frequently are you seeing them? And how frequently are you letting life just get in the way? Because there's always assumption that we could meet up with those people tomorrow. If you're someone who likes receiving gifts, when last did you treat yourself? It doesn't have to be something big. It can be something small. When last did you do something nice or something kind for yourself? Something that's really necessary, right? Because sometimes we know that, just staying groomed and, being well dressed, well, that's part of life, because especially if you're in business, that's expected. Is it really a gift? Or is the gift rather buying yourself, that watch with the biometrics so that you can count your steps and take better care of yourself? Is it actually like maybe just a little bit of a pamper day at a spa? Is it maybe taking your favorite book and going to a place where no one else is and just reading? That can be a gift if that is what you need. Then when we take a look at acts of service, when last did we, as people who appreciate acts of service, allow someone to do something for us? There's so much written about our positivity culture and how we expect to always have things done by ourselves for other people. But when last did we sit down and let someone else do something for us? Let someone else make us that cup of tea. Again, remember, these do not have to be huge things. It can be as simple as making a cup of tea. And then as for the last one, physical touch. Now, again, as we've said, in the business space, that's really, really tough. So, we don't always have cultures where we can hug people. I remember when I went to India, I come from a huggy culture and I had to do fist bumps because that wasn't their thing. But when last did you high five someone? When last did you fist bump someone? If all else fails, when last did you buy yourself something that is soft and tactile? For example, pajamas. It's a really interesting thing, but when you get into bed in nice soft pajamas or you pull a nice soft duvet over you, as much as that is not touching another person, at least it is a soft, tactile, comforting experience. So that might help us from a touch and a tactile perspective, is when we can't touch other people, maybe there's something else we can touch. I know I have 2 dogs and I absolutely adore their soft fur and just stroking them, because that also fulfills my need for touching and then connecting with another being on that level. And I know there are lots of countries where there are petting zoos and special places where you can have things like equine experiences, where you will touch horses and be around them and also just feel their calming nature, have a positive effect on you. So yes, my love language is to make time. And this morning I woke up really early and reached out to someone and said, hey, we haven't spoken in a while. How's about we meet for a cup of coffee? This time, not at the Performance Cafe. I hope you found this useful, and I do hope that you will click on like and subscribe down here at the bottom so that you can see more of what we have to offer. Please also click on that little notification bell so that we know that you are seeing the next video as it becomes available. And we've got a new coffee companion this week. In fact, she and I are going to have our session just within a couple of minutes. Really excited about it. And then, of course, if you're joining us from LinkedIn, please like, follow, share, do whatever you want, and come over here and then subscribe to the YouTube channel. You guys on Facebook, lovely to see you here. So I do hope to see you again at the next video. And as always, also like, share, and comment. We love to hear from you. And then until Friday, I will see you along with our special guest, Kirsten Jatto, on the Performance Cafe. See you, bye.